Guys, this is probably not what you expected to hear on the Sister Sip. You never know what kind of content you're going to get.
Like some of our kids were getting
like
baptized.
adult issues that we were...
Like, that was something that we played a lot.
I thought it was just going to be this, like, funny little, like, haha, like, we thought it would be fun, but they were ticked. And I, of course, got a spanking. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. And happy 1 year to Sister Sip.
Yes.
Can you believe? You seemed so enthusiastic.
Because I think we mentioned in the last podcast, we always start recording so late.
So we had plans to record this earlier.
Uh-huh.
We were having major technical difficulties. But anyways, we are here. We're excited to be here.
Yes, it's been very exciting. It's crazy. It kind of seems like we just started it a couple months ago.
I know. It is wild. And we have a very exciting little thing that we're doing for our 1 year over on our Instagram.
So we're going to be doing a giveaway with, we'll kind of show you what's going to be in it. So I made London fogs for our drink today. We're kind of going to give you some of the materials to make one yourself and the mugs that these are in right now. So we used a couple mugs that are very similar to the ones that you're getting in your collection.
I think they're the same collection.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least
too.
very similar. Very cute little like pottery. They're like painted on.
Yes. They'd be very fun to have, especially if you're having like some girls over or something. And then we're also going to be giving you a cute little box of Earl Grey tea and some honey. And then of course these mugs, there's 4 of them. And they come with these really cute little gold stir sticks, little spoons, and then
candles.
Yeah, some really pretty fall candles.
And like candlestick holders. Kind of like we want it to be like a little set of things so that you can kind of host some girls, maybe have a little tea and kind of have your own little sister sip. I'm excited to drink this again.
Very cold.
I know.
I made them quite a while ago.
We kind of brought back an old recipe for this one instead of doing a new recipe. We are drinking our London Fog, which is a favorite.
We have the recipe posted. I think it was like maybe one of our 3rd or 4th recipes that we did posted on our Sister Sip Instagram page. So go check that out if you haven't already.
I'll repost it on the stories.
Okay.
But so good. It's like perfect for this time of year. Like a cozy fall winter drink.
Yeah. It's a little bit more special than just like a regular old tea.
What do you think has been your favorite episode to record so far?
I'm trying to remember. I have to look back to them. So, I mean, the ones with the guys I know are always fun.
I know.
You know, people like those, and those are fun to record too. Like just having like other people on. But I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was one that was really fun to do, but I cannot remember what it was. Honestly, I think our first episode was like super fun. Like kind of like talking about our honeymoons and weddings and like newlywed life. That one was probably one of my favorites.
I know, that was one of my top 2. And obviously the ones like with the guys. I will say the ones with the guys, technically like with all the like recording stuff, it is like so much more stressful to edit and even just set up and everything. Our little kitten George is over here, which I will get into.
He looks like he's like about to just fall down. Okay, now he's hunkering down. He was just like standing there, just like
dozing off. Anyways,
probably the sound of the dishwasher.
Like having guests on, it's probably part of us being like amateur podcasters, but like technically, like with the mics and everything, it is just a lot bigger of a hassle. But it's always fun. Not as fun to edit, but those episodes are just seriously so fun. I also liked our Q&A. I just remember that one being kind of fun to record too. So it's been so fun. And I was also just kind of thinking like, felt like I was kind of taking a risk doing this podcast like on my YouTube channel because I was like, it's kind of different from my content, which is like more focused on me and Keegan or just me. And I was like, will people even like this? I didn't know if it would like make my channel like the views go down or people would be like, what's this? Because it doesn't like fit with the rest of my algorithm. Yeah. But that has not been the case. I know it's probably not for everybody, but people have been so supportive in watching both Sister Sip and the vlog.
Yeah.
And it's just been so fun. I feel like Sister Sip has even helped my channel to grow, and it's like kind of a way to connect with you guys, I guess, a little bit deeper than just the vlogs. Maybe someday, like, I feel like my vision is to maybe take like Sister Sip away from like the Kenslie Wirtz channel eventually, but for now it's like once a month is kind of all we have time for, and like that's just kind of like where we're at. But and also like we don't make money or anything from this.
A little bit.
Just
a very small amount.
A very small amount from AdSense.
Yeah.
So we won't be quitting our day jobs anytime soon for this, which, I mean, we're not here to, like, make money, but I think that with us, like, working jobs, we can't do it as often. Yeah. So we appreciate you guys supporting, even though we only have an episode once a month.
Yeah.
It's been so fun. And I think it's, like, good to, like, have, like, a sustainable schedule instead of, like, burning ourselves out.
That we can actually commit to.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been really fun. I'm ready to get into what's been brewing, catch up a little bit.
Okay, so you already know this, I guess, but I tried on my wedding dress again.
Oh, yes.
I had been wanting to, but it just always kind of seemed, I feel like, a hassle to, like, just get it in the big garment bag or whatever, and then get it out and then, like, try it on. And so I think, it was a couple weeks ago, my sister-in-law was over at my house, and I forget if we were watching wedding videos or talking about our weddings or something, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try it on.
Yeah.
And I like forgot like how much I loved it. I feel like it's like,
yes,
it definitely didn't fit like it used to, which is to be expected. I feel like, but it was just like so like I still love it. Like it's still like so pretty to me. It's like I would still like choose it to this day, and it was just like so fun to put it on again. It's kind of sad that you like pick out the dress that you love and then you like only get to wear it once.
I know. I still have not put on my dress since getting married. Yeah, I wonder if it'll fit me. I will say it was a little bit big on me on my wedding day.
Yeah.
So I wonder if now, but it was kind of just because I think with all the nerves or being busy, I just lost some weight.
Yeah.
So I'm curious like how it would fit me now. But I also tried on Jayla's dress, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to be able to like try on each other's dress. I was not able to even zip it up.
It's like it's crazy also like it like just looked
so different.
Probably
on
like
me.
just like looked like not really like you. So like
I know. It was crazy how it just looks different. And I'm like, I cannot picture my dress on you either. But it would be kind of fun for you to try.
Yeah, I know. I think it would just be fun to try on each other's dresses or some of my friends too, just 'cause it's so fun to like put on wedding dresses. So
I know. Well, I need to do that sometime.
Yeah. So I know you guys already knew. I think I've already told you that like my sister-in-law's engaged and my brother-in-law's engaged to one of my best friends. So it's just been like crazy wedding season. So we had another bachelorette trip weekend. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I cannot like hardly remember.
I know you've
been
been so
on
busy.
Anything. And we went to kind of like, what's the name?
Was it in Kentucky?
No. What's the falls?
Oh,
I feel like I'm so tired. What's a popular falls name? Oh my word. Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the Hocking Hills area. It was really fun. I don't know if I told you this or not, but like did I tell you this? Like the night we went out to eat with Phoebe. We like saw like multiple other bachelorette trips there.
Oh,
at the
really?
restaurant we went to. Like I didn't really think it was like a popular place at all for
I
bachelorette
know.
trips. But yeah, we saw like, I want to say 3 or 4 maybe. Like it was
Wow.
kind of crazy. We just like picked this restaurant and then like there ended up being like,
that's kind of fun.
yeah, it was almost like a limo like full of people. I think it was a bachelorette party. I think we saw, it was just like crazy. I felt like we just kept seeing more would come, then another one would pull up. It was just like, no, we were not expecting it at all.
Were like other trips where they kind of like dressed up a lot or like had like,
so there was this one, I don't know if it was a bachelorette trip or not, or maybe it was like a fun birthday party thing, but it looked like the theme was like everyone dressed up as grannies.
oh, that is
Yeah.
fun. I've seen that.
Because we were like pulling in, like saw this lady, and then it was like, I feel like it's something just looked a little bit weird. And then it was like, okay, it was like a costume.
so funny.
Yes, it was so funny. She like stuffed. I think she like stuffed her back area.
Oh, that's
and then
so
like
funny.
like had like a big like or just like a poofy wig on. It was funny, yeah. And the other ones, I don't feel like they dressed up too much. There was one, they were just kind of, at least one of them was dressed kind of odd. Like I couldn't tell if there was really a theme. Maybe they were just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing
For-
too crazy.
On my bachelorette, we went to Nashville.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, like, the place for bachelorette trips.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to see, like, people go all out with their costumes. Like, like, one, like, people did, like, wedding dress. Like, everyone wore wedding dresses.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, what the weirdest. Probably don't even want to share what the weirdest one is that
we saw so many, I felt like, which was, like, obviously to be expected going there.
I don't know if I, like, expected it to be, like, such the hub. Like, I feel like all you saw was bachelorette like, parties.
Also, like, the time of year we went, when would we go? In August? Maybe that isn't that popular, but it's kind of like if you have, like, winter weddings or fall weddings, like, people are going about then.
Yeah, it's fun to people watch.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of want to talk about this a little bit. I started working at LifeWise or volunteering at LifeWise. I can't remember timelines for anything. It's probably been 1 or 2 months. I don't know if you guys know what LifeWise is or not. It's in a lot of different states, and I would definitely recommend it. If you're wanting to look out to volunteer and help somewhere, check out, see if it's in a local school near you. But it's a program that goes to public schools, and we basically teach, like, the gospel and go through the Bible with kids. And I know some schools, like, even I think go up to high school. We only do like the younger classes, like, we only go up to 3rd grade. But basically it's, like, with parents' permission, and it's off school grounds. So, like, that's the whole legal part of it. So we, like, go and pick them up. We take them to a separate building, and then, like, the parents, like, have given permission for this and stuff. So it's, like, I guess kind of the way to be able to teach the Bible in public schools is basically by doing that way. But it's a really cool ministry. I feel like it's, like, maybe the only biblical teaching a lot of these kids will ever get, or the first that they'll ever even hear about the Bible. I feel like a lot of these kids actually aren't from Christian homes. It's just, I feel like, something that parents know is probably just, like, a good thing. Like, we teach a lot of character traits too. Like, each week we'll have, like, a character trait, and so, like, we're teaching them stuff like that too, so that I feel like parents know that, like, that's good things for their kids to learn, even if they aren't, like, believers themselves. But it's really cool because, like, you can be the first one. You may be the first one to ever make, like, that influence on their lives of, like, the gospel and God. And it's really fun. Like, I really enjoy it. And yeah, I would definitely recommend you looking into it if that's something you would be interested in. To me, I only do it every other week, so it's not even, like, a big high commitment thing that you have to be. I know some schools have it, like, multiple days a week depending on, like, how many classes, how big the classes are and stuff. But yeah, it's, like, I would definitely highly recommend it if you'd be interested in something like that. And then this just past week, we had this, like, festival pumpkin show in the town where I live, and, like, that's the place where I volunteer, that town, for the LifeWise program and stuff. And it was really fun. We had, like, a tent set up with games and, like, information about LifeWise, and yeah, so it was really fun to work at that this week and, like, see the kids and some of the families come through, and yeah, that's probably kind of fun, like, seeing them in a different place. Like, just, like, having fun. But it's, like, fun hearing from the kids. A lot of the kids that go there, like, love LifeWise. Like, it's such a big highlight to them and stuff.
That's rewarding.
At such a young age. So yeah. Anyway, just kind of want to talk about that for a little bit, because if you're interested kind of in helping out in a local ministry in your area, that's a really good one. So yeah, you might want to check it out and see if it's in a school close to you. Let's see what my other life updates are. Redoing our bathroom, which I have been wanting to redo our bathroom for, like, since we bought the house, basically. And we just, like, there's just, like, things that, like, we didn't do it right away, so then it just got pushed off and pushed off and pushed off because, like, there's other things that we were doing.
There's just a million house projects.
I know. And, like, you think, like, okay, like, yeah, once we move in, we'll do the bathroom, because, like, we couldn't get it all done before we moved in, and then just, like, it didn't get done. But yeah, I am so excited. Like, I love how it's turning out.
Is there more progress since I was there last night?
Probably not.
Well, is Oliver working on it tonight?
Hopefully he's doing some stuff tonight.
Oh my word, you guys. It is turning out
some
so
of the doors
cute.
Yes. I'm like, it's like our laundry room and bathroom. And so it's like, and it's the only bathroom that we have. So it's like obviously kind of a often used space. So it's like, I really wanted to make it cute and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be excited to show pictures of it.
And it's like,
it's finished.
You're adding like a lot of character. I don't know. It's really cute.
Yeah. I got like, is it beadboard? I think that's what I call it. Kind of doing it like halfway around the wall. Then I got like this like cute vintage trim that we're putting on top. And yeah.
Yeah. It's so fun.
It's been satisfying to see it done. Yeah, I think that's basically most of my life updates.
Well, my first one is a sad one, and if you have kept up with the vlogs, then you know this, but our dear cat Pepper is gone. It's actually like really sad. So it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I forget. She was kind of like an indoor-outdoor cat. I was always like nervous in the beginning of letting her outside. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get her a collar with like an air tag so I can track her and everything. But we started just to let her out little bits at a time. And I was like, I think she would hate a collar. But she always came back. She was so loyal. Every time like I would get home from work, like as soon as she would hear the door open, she would just be like running over. So I was like, honestly, we don't really have wild animals like coyotes or things that could get to her in town. I don't really feel like. And she is so scared of cars. Like, she stays so far away. She does not cross the street. And she really just stayed around. So I just kind of started to trust her.
Yeah.
But there's just like a few weeks ago, she just didn't come back. And we do not know what happened. I think that's like kind of the hardest part. Because you were asking me yesterday, you're like, would you even want to know, like, if she had died? And I'm like, honestly, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't have closure, and I realized that it's just a cat. I feel like some people, like, get it, like, being really attached to your animals, and some people are probably like, okay. But, like, at the same time, I really wonder if somebody took her.
Yeah.
Somehow. Which kind of makes me sad because, I mean, I hope she's in a good home.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, she kind of had it made. Honestly, we spoiled her so much. But I'm like, are they treating her good?
Yeah.
You know, like all those little things. Yeah. And it's just like weird to think of like somebody else taking care of her. I don't know. But maybe she did die. I just don't really know how.
I know.
So, yeah, it was really sad. You know, we're moving on. And one fun thing that we did, it was just a few days after, and I was like feeling like coming home to our house, and it just felt kind of like sad and empty. And Keegan and I have been kind of going through some other things in our life that are kind of personal, but it was just like on top of all that, like coming home and like Pepper wasn't here, so it kind of felt like the house just felt like cold and lonely. And I was like, I think I'm gonna need a new kitten.
Yeah.
And I really liked how Pepper had like that fluffy long hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I reached out to like her old, where we got her, and maybe they would have kittens.
Yeah.
And I reached out, and he responded right away. And he was like, yeah, I have 2. He had 2 fluffy ones. So we went and we got little George here, which he is actually right here. I could show you. He's not going to like
Dorky.
He's sleeping.
He's so cute. He has like a little short tail.
Yeah, he has. I mean, if you're, he's tucking it in between his legs.
Are you insecure?
He is, well, we'll get into him a little bit, but we like soon realized he was kind of a lonely boy. So we decided to go back and get his sister.
I'll get her.
Ginger, who Jayla was holding her earlier. She is so sweet. She's more like, she reminds me of like a rag doll. Like she just kind of lets you just hold her. I mean, she can be a bit shy, but she looks so mad. No, she's just curling up. Okay. She's kind of sleepy. Yeah. Anyways, I'll put pictures on Instagram, then you can see them better. But they've been really fun. However, little George here, I am like, I don't know what to do. Obviously, I expect kittens, like in the beginning, to have little accidents. He just kept, well, for one, he got up on our bed and peed on it. On the comforter and everything. You know how big of a pain it is to clean a comforter? Because sometimes they can't go through the dryer and you have to like...
Yeah.
Even if it does go through the dryer, it has to be there forever. Yeah. So we take it off, put on a fresh one. He gets up there, pees on it. I was like, absolutely not. So we had to wash 2 different comforters and sheet sets. And...
But he's so cute.
He has this little pooping corner in our living room.
Where is it?
It's where the Monstera was.
Ooh.
He has, like, no shame. And I have seen him, like, squatting. He doesn't even have, like, the natural instinct. You know, like, cats will, like, still kind of dig. I saw him just squatting to... I think he was peeing. I don't know. I kind of felt, I couldn't tell. Might have just been some dribbles. I am disgusted. I got kittens, not a puppy. Like, I didn't want a puppy because I don't want to have to potty train and deal with, like, nasty accidents. Cats are so easy. They just kind of take care of themselves, and you just change their litter box. You don't have to worry about it. Ginger is amazing at using her litter box. And what really grosses me out is that we can pick up the poop. This is probably not what you expected to hear on the Sister Sip. You never know what kind of content you're going to get. But I'm like, you can't see where pee is. So we were kind of like looking up things, and we saw like get a black light flashlight where you can like shine. And I was like, oh, it'll be kind of gross, but that'd be kind of nice just to know, and I can just wash up those areas. So we bought one on Amazon. It literally doesn't work.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I don't know what we're missing here.
I feel like you gotta try it in the dark.
Well, there was like a little spot that I am pretty sure that he peed on our comforter. Oh, on our comforter that was drying because we had washed it. And then I think it was one that couldn't go in the dryer maybe. So I like hung over like our kitchen chairs to dry, and he got up on it and peed.
Oh my word.
And so I didn't even know. So I was putting.
That is so nasty.
I was putting.
It smells very.
See, that I cannot be having a house that smells like pee. I am thoroughly disgusted. Which I want to like go to Kroger. You can rent like a carpet cleaner, but I'm just like want to wait until we have this issue resolved.
How are you gonna get the issue resolved?
Well.
If you guys have any tips, if you've ever had a weird cat like that, because I feel like it's literally their like natural instinct to like use a litter box or dig in something. Use the bathroom.
He has a broken tail, so maybe that like messed with his instincts. I will say, so we did try something. We have put his food in his pooping corner, which is not ideal, and I don't want it to be there for very long. But I read that they don't want to eat they don't want to go to the bathroom at the same spot that they eat. And we're like, maybe that was the issue because, like, their food bowl is right by their litter box. I don't know.
I'm use the bathroom by his food bowl.
Well, no. So it's been there for a couple days, right?
So he's just like somewhere else.
Yeah. It's been there since last night. I haven't seen anything today, so either he's constipated or there's
pray he's constipated at this point. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. We try to change the litter. I don't know what to do, and I'm not I don't want my house to just smell. So it's kind of discouraging, but he's so cute. I don't know.
You don't know any better.
He might be a good outside cat, but he just seems too little right now. I just don't know why he won't use it. And Ginger uses it fine. So anyways, that's what's going on there. But we really like our new kittens. They're very sweet. Still miss Pepper, but we really like George and Ginger. And they're so I want to put on the video of them snuggling together. They're so snuggly.
They're so cute to watch when they're snuggling.
Like, they're literally the best of friends. They snuggle, they play together. It's really fun. Another thing is that I had another photography endeavor.
Oh yeah.
I'm not pursuing photography, but I'm like, maybe I will at this point. I don't know, I keep having these like people asking me to do stuff. So I just did an extended family shoot, and I was really nervous about it cuz it was, I don't know, it's just like a lot of pictures, but I did that this past Sunday and it was really fun. I really am like, I probably need to like take some like courses, not only on photography but also like filmmaking. Because I would like to like get a little bit more professional, honestly, in both, especially if I do any filmmaking, like wedding videos or like anything like business related. I feel like you can kind of tell sometimes when it's self-taught.
Yeah.
It's just good to like learn camera settings. I know nothing about camera settings. It's honestly really bad, but it just is so confusing to me. So if you have any like good courses that you like, if you've ever done filmmaking or photography, just let me know. As long as they're not too expensive, I guess. If they're like easy to understand, because it's really confusing to me, to be honest. And my last one is that there's been a lot of chat on the podcast about me being super messy. And I feel like I've always like said like, oh, I'm like a very messy person. But Keegan and I have decided that we're not messy people anymore. That we are clean people.
Great.
I've really, so for a couple different reasons, trying to like change that habit, because I know it's kind of cheesy to be like, I'm a clean person now, and like you say it, but I'm like, I don't really want like me being a messy person. Like that's not something I really just like want to embrace and like make it a part of me. For one, we kind of are considering like tearing out like a wall and making it more of like an open concept kitchen. And I know you mentioned you're like, well, people are going to walk right in like from the door and like immediately see your kitchen, and like if you have a messy kitchen. So I'm like, I told Keegan, I was like, we don't deserve to do that. I was like, we should not be allowed to do that remodel until we have like learned how to like have a clean kitchen like 90% of the time. I understand like it's going to be messy sometimes, but like when like a majority of the time it's dirty, like no, we don't need to be having an open concept kitchen. And another thing is, I was talking to my friend and she was talking about how her mom says like you really need to start good habits before you have kids. So like before Keegan and I enter that stage of life, like it's only going to get harder after you have kids to like keep a clean house and have these habits. I'm like, we're literally in the easiest stage of life right now to do that. So we have to start these habits now. And one thing is like with a lot of things, something I've been thinking about is like creating things that are sustainable. Like I feel like I've tried this before and like made like super unrealistic expectations. Like I'm going to do this, this, and this to keep it clean. This is probably like common sense to a lot of people, but one thing I've been doing is like, or trying to, I'm not perfect, but like trying to be mindful about is like when I'm doing something, finishing that up or cleaning up what I'm doing before I move on to the next thing. Because I feel like I would like come home, take an armful of stuff, set it all on the couch, go and get started on supper, and, you know, have all the dirty dishes, leave our plates on the table, and then go out and do something else for a while, make a mess there, then come in and I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock.
Not funny.
It's 10 o'clock and I'm tired. I'm like, oh, there's all these like dirty dishes. And so it's like kind of like overwhelming. Plus it's like a mess here because I laid all my stuff down. And so it's kind of like, okay, I get home, I hang my coat up, you know, like I put my, the cats are playing. I put my stuff away and like cleaning up as I go in the kitchen. I know this is probably something like everybody does, but it's like not, I guess, common sense to me. So it's something I'm like trying to implement because it's so much less overwhelming to just like clean up a little bit of mess.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I feel like creating sustainable habits, like when you're wanting to make a lifestyle change, because I've been thinking about it like with food too. Like I know we talked about that with food
and exercise.
Like yeah, we've started exercising at the gym. Like if I was like, oh my word, I have to go like every night, then I'm gonna feel like I immediately failed instead of being like, oh, I went a few times this week. Like we're making progress.
And I like don't even go to the gym because I just like I know you guys live close to one.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know that we do, and I'm like I know it's like not really worth it for me because I know it won't be something I can keep up. So like I'd rather just like walk or like lift weights at home or something like that.
More sustainable for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like with like eating healthy, like it is not like for me to be like, I'm going to cut out all processed sugars and all seed oils. You know, those are things that I like value. Sure. I try to be super mindful, especially when I'm cooking at home to like I'm probably not going to buy canola oil. And
you won't buy canola oil.
No, I'm not going to be buying canola oil. But I'm probably going to make cookies here and there with processed sugar, and I might buy a bag of potato chips. And sure, I like to go out to eat. So I'm going to go out to eat, and you can't really avoid all of the processed stuff. And so I think it's just like trying to be mindful about like taking care of yourself, making sure that like you feel good.
And that like doesn't feel restricting. And if something does start to feel restricting to you, in anything, and they're like, hey, maybe this isn't for me, or I need to be like doing something a little bit different. Like, you know.
Because I think sometimes it becomes this like binge and purge. Like, oh, I'm not going to eat any desserts ever, ever, ever. And then all of a sudden you're just like purging, just like eating. Or it would be binging. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just think in a lot of areas of life, when you're thinking about making a lifestyle change, make like realistic, I guess goals, but like lifestyle changes, like things that
and even just like starting out really slow and like just
that's my little tangent. So, which I didn't even really want to say, like, I'm a clean person now, because I know that you probably didn't walk into my house like, wow, this looks so much cleaner, but I notice like it's little bits at a time. It's small little changes, and hopefully like over time. And I also think that as you like focus on cleaning more and more, like things start to bother me more. Like I'm like, ooh, I liked how it was clean yesterday. Ooh, I don't like how like there's clutter out today. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, maybe next episode I can be like, wow, like I'm so clean now. We'll see.
We'll see. No,
we shall see.
No, I mean, I think that's good now that you're like, if you're going to be more mindful about it, then like you probably will be more intentional about it.
We were just talking about it like before recording, like how different we are. Like, 'cause you are.
I feel like I don't like if you came into my house, it would not be like so clean all the time. It's more like the aspect of like clutter and things sitting out, or like things on the counter that don't belong on the counter. Like a lot of stuff like that. Like I can't handle too much of that. Like it just like stresses me out. And it can be like almost the unhealthy part. It's like almost like so like overwhelmed or annoyed about like things piling up or something. Like especially like when you're in the middle of a home renovation project, like our bathroom. Like I feel like it was just like, oh my word. They kind of like finally was cleaning it up a little bit, 'cause I'm like, okay, I can actually clean up some of this even though we're still in the middle of the project. But I just like easily get like or like if one section is really messy, then like all of a sudden it's just like I feel like I can feel almost like all of a sudden I see everything else around the house that needs to be done too. Like even if it's just like one section that's really bad.
I can understand that a little bit, and I need to have a little bit more of that. But
healthy balance of both.
Yeah, we painted, which you probably can't even tell 'cause it is very similar. Like it was like a grayish before, and we painted this like a creamy white.
Yeah, it's a really pretty shade.
Yeah, but it really stressed me out. Like having like our couch and all our decorations were like just moved to the middle, and I feel like all that happened during the time when like
everything else was going on
in my life, and so it was like extremely stressful. So between that and Pepper, like every time I came home, like Pepper wasn't even home. Like for a while I was like, I don't even really want to be home right now. So like you want
to not a cozy place.
No. And that's something like I want my home to feel like welcoming and homey, cozy. So that's something that's important to me. And like I appreciate going to people's houses and they're clean.
Yeah.
But sometimes I appreciate going, like I have a friend, like sometimes she'll have dishes in her sink, and like I'm like, oh, okay. I don't feel so like,
because
it's like kind of refreshing.
Oh yeah.
I also like there's some people like your house, or like certain people it's like, oh, it's always like super clean, and
I don't feel like it is, so I'm like insecure. Like some people like, I've been to your house and that's not been cleaned in a long time. It's not always clean. I still have dishes in the sink, but I think the biggest thing for me is like clutter, like more than like everything being like spotless and like wiped all the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
a lot. Okay, we've probably went on this cleaning tangent for long enough. So, kind of for, I guess, today's episode, we thought it would be fun to kind of reminisce on some childhood memories. Especially, I don't know, since it's our 1-year episode, we can kind of talk about our childhood, kind of our history as sisters.
I kind of wanted to address, I guess, everyone who reached out on the last episode. I kind of forgot to do that at the beginning. But thank you everyone so much who reached out, like commented or DM'd us or me or whatever. It was just like really cool to see how the Lord had used that episode to help different people, especially like something that was like such a personal struggle to me. And then like after going through that, it was really cool to see like just almost to be able to physically see like the redemption of my story and how it like has helped and can help other people.
Yeah.
So like, because sometimes we don't always like see the result of why we go through something that we go through, even though like we know that
God can use it.
God can use it and God has a plan and all that. But like it was really cool just to like to be able to like actually see like different ways that God had used it. And I know there's obviously things that like probably, you know, we'll never see how God's using our story, but it was just cool to be able to see some examples of that. And yeah, so just thank you so much. It was very yeah, it was just really cool to see how God was using that episode.
And like I think that can be an inspiration to all of us, like sharing your testimony and sharing how the Lord's worked, or even just sharing like struggles you're walking through really can make other people not feel so alone or feel like they have.
Definitely.
Like it was really like crazy to me how many people like reached out and were like, me too, like I've struggled with this as well. And it's like, this is like kind of a big thing. And like, even people like, I didn't even know I was like the only one. And I know that you've like, been there.
Yeah. And it's just like crazy how like, cause I didn't know, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get some people like, I don't know what kind of feedback I would get back on it. And I feel like it was just like so much positive feedback and like, so like, yeah, I didn't feel, I don't really know what the word I'm trying to say is, but like it was just really cool to see how God was using that.
Yeah. So we appreciated all the sweet comments and even just hearing some of you guys' stories with it as well. Anyways,
so yeah, we're gonna kind of get into just kind of like a more fun little topic we're gonna get into today. I know we've spent so much time just talking about our life updates. But, yeah, we're going to just talk a little bit about some childhood memories. We asked you guys to submit some, and we got a couple of those.
Yeah, we have a couple we might read at the end.
See how much time we have. But, yeah, so I was kind of, like, trying to think of some different ones.
Okay, I'm curious if we'll have, like, some of the same ones or not.
I'm, like... I feel like I have a lot of just different ones.
Wait, okay, I want to start by sharing, like, kind of like you and I, like, some of our creative endeavors, like, where we've come from. So, like, it's kind of funny thinking about us, like, starting our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about, like, I remember us, like, having, like, lots of dreams. One was, like, that we were going to start a restaurant in our basement.
Oh, I remember that. And a card shop, right?
Yes. But I just remember, like, we were, like, we had like a whole plan. We were going to put a sign out by the road, and then we thought like Mom would have enough food in her fridge.
And like we were going to, I think, weren't we going to have like crayons for kids?
Yes. Like, because probably at that time we would always have kids meals.
Yeah.
And it was like, we truly believed it was going to happen.
Like you like don't understand at that age, like all like the laws, legalistics of like anything like that.
And like, I was just like, oh yeah, like we do hot dogs. Mom has ketchup and mustard. And we had like a little like table in the basement, like a little like
that table that has the blue and white polka dots.
Yeah.
And
so like they like I just remember like things like that, like you fully believed like
like you could do it if you wanted to. Yeah.
And of course making tons of movies.
Yeah.
Like if you were one of our close friends growing up,
yeah,
you probably were roped into doing a movie with us, which is kind of funny. Like, look at where we are now.
Like, so incredible. We have, like, one or two. I think one that we actually, we did it with our cousins in California, like, actually burned on a DVD.
Yeah.
And there was, like, I think it was just 5 of us, like, our cousins and, like, one other girl, and, like, we just...
It's so bad.
It's like so funny, but like it's not like funny. Like it was, we were so creative and funny. It's like so like last time we watched it was like I don't know how many years ago it was.
I watched it with Keegan when we were dating.
Yeah, and Oliver was there too. It wasn't like over some sort of youth weekend. It's like I like almost hard to watch. It's so cringy.
The storylines were so bad. It was always like I know we had one about like, you know, like an orphanage and a mean like
yes. And one about, like, was it the one we did with Alyssa?
Yes. We did one where it was, like, this girl was, like, being made fun of for being conservative.
It was, like, you.
Yeah.
And I remember her mom was, like...
For, like, wearing a head covering and skirt.
And probably a longer skirt. And, like, I remember...
You were the bully.
Yeah, it was, like, me and another girl were the bully. But then, like, the other girl played your mom, too. And she, like, I remember her asking you, I was like, you're supposed to be, like, so conservative and plain, like, if you wanted, like, almonds for a snack when you got home.
Like, trying to really not be a fun mom. Yeah. Like, she doesn't even have fun treats. And I got in trouble for painting my nails. like making me super like plain and boring. And then like,
and did you like roll your? What,
oh
like,
yeah.
What did you wear that was?
So
like,
then I did like a rebellious thing, and what did I? I like rolled up my like skirt to make it shorter, or I like wore shorts. I like packed like an outfit to change at school.
Yes, I almost feel like it was that.
Or I wore pants or something, and then you come in the bathroom. Like I thought I was gonna be cool and finally fit in. This is so stupid. You came in, you're like, guess nobody told you it was shorts day.
I remember that. Whatever it was. So sassy.
So like I tried to like change to fit in, but then it was like I wore the wrong thing.
Yeah, it was probably just a shorter skirt.
I don't even know.
That is
it was
so funny.
terrible.
And then we had this whole like we had a friend in Haiti. We like filmed. Didn't we film like I don't know what it was called, the Sisters series or something?
Yeah,
we
made like a
lot,
series.
I feel like of different things. I don't even remember. Like I don't even. Could we find those now? I don't even know.
Yeah, it was.
I wish we could like in our life updates like find a clip and. I don't know if there's any way to do that. Wasn't that movie called Acceptance that we did in Haiti?
Yeah, I was about being accepted.
It was like, didn't we recently? I found it a couple years ago maybe, and it was like really like bad quality. So I don't know if it would just be so funny.
Okay. The one other creative endeavor that we did, which was actually like really cool that we did this, is that we sent out a magazine that we did together.
Oh my word! I totally forgot about that. What was it called?
It's called Girls for God. And we actually did it for like a couple years, I think. Is this messing with the cord that she's playing? Our cats are like playing with the cord.
Did we actually keep it up for that long?
So we did it seasonally, like winter, spring, fall. And it actually like we had like a devotional column, like a recipe, a Q&A, and like people would send in things.
Wouldn't people send in something about themselves to be submitted in it?
Yeah.
Like, so you could submit like a picture of yourself, I think, and some different things that you like to do, and then like you might be able to get like submitted into this like the season of Girls for God.
Yeah, Girls for God. And it was like an email magazine. So we didn't print it. I made it on like...
I bet we could find that. Because it was probably sent from my email that I still have.
Honestly, that, I'm sure it was a little cringy, but like that was like actually like really cool that we did that. Like it was actually like really fun, and we did it for, a good little bit. And it was just like, I feel like I was like 11 or 12, 10, 11, 12, around that age when we did that. So another little fun.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to like reminisce, and then it's like, here we are like,
now
doing
a podcast together,
kind of like sometimes you're just like doing your grown-up things of like what you used to enjoy doing as a kid.
Obviously, I feel like one of the things I have down here, which is like such a core childhood memory, was like living in Haiti.
Yeah,
like it was so long ago. It's been like 10 years since we moved back over that, and it's just like that will be like one of the best childhood memories. Is like
I know
it was so crazy, like so cool that we got to live in a different country. Like
I know. I feel like it just provided such an interesting, like, so much culture. Like it just taught us a lot.
Like that's just like it's not
broadened our worldview.
A lot of different kids. Obviously lots of kids don't ever get the opportunity, and I'm like that was just like such a cool experience that like we lived in a different country,
and we had such an exciting life.
Yeah, and that's just like. It was so fun, like, growing up with a bunch of, like, the staff there, too. And,
like kind of like community living.
Like, having big sisters, big brothers, like, almost like that. And, that was just, like, such a fun experience. Just, like, living on a compound with other people.
Yeah, we lived on a compound, and there would just be people that would come every day who, like, needed help. There would be, like...
just to hang out.
People who would, like, get in accidents. They would come by, and we'd be... not we, but people... be like stitching them up. There'd just always be something interesting going on.
Yeah, there's lots of exciting things.
Yeah, I remember it was really hard to move back to the States afterwards because it was like life was just so boring. Like there wasn't something crazy happening every day.
Like I know. It's just like there, and I loved being surrounded by like even if there wasn't that much going on, like it was so fun like living with so many different people all the time. Like
yeah.
And you just, like, move back home and it just feels, like, so boring. I feel like just being back to your family dynamic. You don't have people that you're visiting with every day. Like, I feel like when you live in there, you're basically always visiting with people. Like, people would always come down. You'd hang out with them. Like, It's just, And it was so fun, like, lots of good memories, like family vacations that we would do down there. Sometimes we'd like need a little getaway or something, and like the beaches were so like pretty and warm down there, and we'd go to like a hotel.
Like it's so cool that like our normal vacations were like literally in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
like
that was like our getaway time.
Kind of spoiled me because now like the American beaches do not compare.
I know. It was just so fun. And like I know, obviously it was a lot harder on our parents. Like they had a lot more responsibility. They were seeing a lot more things, involved in a lot more things than we were, but it was a very, very cool opportunity. And something else I had was I talked about this in Kensley's wedding speech. But, like we played our play pretend families so much.
Yes, I have that down too, which I figured you would talk about it. I feel like we need to talk a little bit about our families.
So my husband's name, my pretend husband's name was Matt, and yours was Hal.
Yes,
right?
Hal.
And I can't remember, were they Bob Jones school teachers or were we Bob Jones school teachers? I feel like we thought that was like the dream.
Yeah, because we did
then.
like
we did some Bob Jones
like homeschool curriculum.
Yes.
Yeah, they were somehow connected to Bob Jones.
Yeah,
I don't know.
or maybe we worked. I forget.
Yeah.
But we, like, played that storyline, I feel like, literally all the time.
Well, and one thing that I had down was, like, there were things that happened in our life that we just then had to improvise. One thing was, one time we were fighting over your Bitty Baby.
Yeah.
Do you remember the American Girl Bitty Babies?
Yes.
And we were fighting, and then, like...
It was my Bitty Baby.
Yeah, it was Jayla's Bitty Baby named Esty.
Oh, I did not even remember that.
Yeah, I kind of... And we, like, fought over it and ripped her arm off.
I think you ripped her
I
arm
ripped
off.
her. So she was a one-armed Bitty Baby. But we had to, like, integrate that then
like
into the
things
storyline.
that happened. Yeah.
Like, then you're, like, Esty, like, lost her arm. Not that it was self-inflicted.
I didn't, like, so I also had two twin boys. Weren't they named Tad and Todd?
Yeah, I think. Now your last name's Todd.
I
all
know.
full circle.
It's so funny. And I feel like did they get thrown away?
Yes.
One of them get thrown
I had
away
that
one time. Like
Mom, like either we got in trouble and we had to like donate some toys, like get rid of, or Mom was going
too
through
messy.
some like
it was
a purge,
or like something like the basement was messy and like anything that would just like get left out like was just getting pitched.
And, like we were literally devastated because Mom wasn't just like she was throwing away our family members. So we had to like then integrate that into the storyline to where like they got in an accident and died.
Like, it was a car accident and died. Yes. I just remember like I just feel like we played it so much of the time and like talking about like different things that were going on in our life, that we had like some baptisms, like some of our kids were getting
like
baptized.
Adult issues that we were
like that was something that we played a lot, and it was like so fun.
I know.
Like,
well, and like everywhere we went, we were like constantly in play mode. Like we would go with Mom to the store. Like I remember going to IKEA, and then we would like kind of play like we were moms, like talking about like
that is so funny. I've forgotten a lot of that. But
and
yeah, that was a big, definitely a big core memory.
I have one story, but it doesn't involve you. I forgot that I wrote it down.
Okay.
Oh, it was just a funny childhood memory that I had. I don't know how old I was. 4, 5, 6, around that age. I probably had never had a sleepover before. And me and my friend Bailey were at church, and we were like, it would be so fun if we could have a sleepover. But we were like, I don't know if we would be allowed to. But so we came up with this grand idea where I was going to sneak into her trunk so that like when they drove home, like I would just be driving home. And so then I thought like, oh, well, I'm already here. I may as well just stay the night. And we were like, oh my word, we're going to have a sleepover.
Yeah.
So I remember it was like so nerve wracking. Like we were like chatting, and then like all of a sudden like her dad gets in the trunk and they're just like driving home. And I'm like,
wait, so you were just in the trunk and she was sitting out front with her family?
Yeah. She didn't tell them that I was back there.
Yeah.
And I, got there. And of course my parents like were freaking out.
Oh yeah,
because like they couldn't find me anywhere. It was like night at that point. It was like an evening service. It was pitch black. I think they were like one of the last to leave church. They were like looking everywhere. And that church, it was like the church we used to go to. It was like a pretty big property with like there's like kind of a woodsy area, right?
And
like
graveyard.
A graveyard. They were looking everywhere. I feel like they were probably getting close to like calling the cops or something. And I remember like it was like a little bit, and I was like, I guess I better get out, and I like
Wait,
walked.
so did the whole family get out of the car and Bailey?
Yeah, I feel like, and then I think I came in like a little bit afterwards.
How
I
awkward.
feel like I feel like at that point I was kind of like, okay, like how's this all gonna work out? It's like everything makes sense in your head at that point. And I remember her mom just like laughing, and so I remember being like, oh, haha, this is funny. And she was like, your parents actually just called and were like, do you guys know? Because they knew I was with Bailey. Do you know anywhere where she is? So they had to call. And I remember thinking like, haha, this is kind of funny. And I was like, bummer, it didn't work out. Mom and Dad are picking me up. And I thought like
they're probably so mad at you.
Yes, they were. I thought it was just gonna be this like funny little like, haha, like we thought it would be fun, but they were ticked. And I of course got a spanking. And I was kind of like, okay.
Like I was like, oh, so silly. You can go ahead and stay the night there.
And so didn't quite work out how I had expected, but you know, it's just like looking back at your like logic. Honestly though, like,
yes, I know that was a horrible thing to do. I just remembered one story with, it was like so random. With Casey, she came over once, and we were playing in the woods. I think I've already told you this story.
I don't know.
We were riding bikes, and she just came over for the day, maybe after school or something, to play. And like we saw a deer, and we got like so scared. I think I remember like we were like praying out loud
about the deer,
and like riding our bikes so fast.
I remember like things like that where you get like so scared.
Like yes,
you'd like pray together with
your
your
random
friend.
memory I remember. Like I feel like I don't know if we were like singing songs. I think we were praying though.
So wholesome.
Might have been singing songs too. I can't remember, but it's like I don't know what we would have thought. Pretty sure it was a deer. Yeah, I don't know what we would have thought the deer would have did to us.
That probably represents you and your friends, and then me and being naughty with my friend.
And that was also such a fun memory, like playing in the woods.
Yeah, we lived like right next to a woods
creek.
and a creek. And
Yes.
we'd play like Indians. And
Yes, and there would be like little clay pieces in the river that we'd rub against rock and make like face paint with. And I know sometimes we'd bring like some of our kitchen toys. Do you remember bringing the toys? Maybe we only did that once.
Like make
maybe got in
food.
trouble for that. Maybe not. I can't remember what happened. But it was so fun. There'd be like mulberries, which of course are like so fun to pick 'cause it's like a food that you can actually like eat out there. And
Well, now you live by woods and a river, so maybe your
true.
kids can kind of make memories like that.
You forget how fun. Like sometimes like when I see kids play now, like I'll like have to remember like how fun it was. Like even imagination and all that kind of stuff. Like now it's like
playing pretend.
Excuse me. Now it seems like it wouldn't be that fun, but it's like I remember like it was so fun.
It was. That's all the stories I had.
I know.
Did you
that's
have
mostly
any?
what I have too.
Do you? So I sent in a question for, like, if you guys wanted to share some of your stories. I feel like I posted it on a bad evening. It was Sunday night, so I feel like probably a lot of people didn't see it. We only got 2 responses. Do you?
2 responses.
So thank you. If you were one of the 2 that responded, we appreciate you. Do you want to read them?
Sure.
It's kind of fun to hear. I have no idea what they say. I did not read them beforehand. These both look like they have to do with their dad. Okay. When I was little, before dad. Before bed. I don't know. Before my dad existed. When I was little, before bed, my dad would make me into a burrito by laying me on a blanket and adding various toppings by doing various movements. For example, pounding for beans, tickling for cheese, little flips for jalapenos, etc. After all the toppings were applied, he would roll me up and put me in the oven. Made for some great bedtime stalling and bonding time.
That's really cute.
I know, that's adorable. And I get the bedtime stalling. You're like so not ready to go to
you
bed.
Like dread bedtime and nap time. I feel like when you're younger, and now it's like,
oh, I can't wait to go to bed.
So nice, I know. Okay.
When I was about 9 or 10, my dad dared me to eat a big old juicy green caterpillar. Oh. And he said he'd pay me $10 if I did.
It's like $100 back then.
I swallowed it down in a heartbeat and bought Mexican jumping jeans by mail order with my earnings.
Mexican jumping jeans?
Wait, what? I'm looking those up. I feel like that's like a memory unlocked.
I feel like that's like gonna be such a fun part of being a parent. It's just like
the things
that you can just like pick on them with.
Wait, Mexican jump. Wait, what are they? Mexican jumping beans are seed pods that have been inhabited by a larva of a small moth and are native to Mexico. Are you sure that's
I feel like it's gotta be something else. Like
is that what they are?
Yeah, it's a little bean and it'll move and hop around.
Oh.
So they're called Mexican jumping beans.
Oh, I don't know if you could hear Keegan talking. So, yeah, I guess they have like a little larva in the middle.
inside them, so it makes the bean move. That
Jump.
makes sense. Yeah.
That's so funny. That's how she spent her money. That's so
I
funny.
remember getting them when I was little and being so excited because you just watch this little bean like moving.
That
then
is
did they
fun.
like burst open?
Keegan, I don't know if you can hear Keegan or not. But he said he got some when he was little and was so excited about them.
That is funny.
Thank you for sending in some stories. It's so fun to hear old childhood stories and things. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap on the episode. For the giveaway, I was going to mention, you can head over to our Instagram for details on that. And be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're feeling extra nice, give us a rating and a review on the podcasts on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening. We appreciate it so much. And with that, we will say goodbye.
Bye.